Okay, so welcome to your update from Shenzhen. As you can see, I'm at the airport. In fact, let me turn this camera around so you can really take a look at this. This was here's the crazy thing about this. When I arrived and checked in a few minutes ago, it was in this enormous kind of like incredible atrium, and it was so big it makes this look like a kind of broom cupboard. I was like, you know what? I'll go through to the other side because this is so beautiful. It's still pretty beautiful here. Truly, you see that's a nice wide-angle lens on this. That's my little spot there. I'm going to talk to you from there in just a minute, but I wanted you to just get a feel for this incredible space. And this is just the international departures area. All right, so I'm going to go on over here and let's have a little chat. Okay, here we go, settled down in my little kind of jet seat here. Okay, some little quick bits of housekeeping. First of all, depending on the day that you're watching this, there's either hardly any time left or no time left for the Halloween coloring contest. If you haven't done it already, please download a copy of it's just like a kid's coloring outline, like a Halloween scene with crazy MAGFAST products in the middle of it. You get to turn them into monsters, and we're giving away an extreme for the best entry. So that'd be great. Do that. I'll link underneath. The next thing is, I promised you a couple of weeks ago, I showed you our system of LEDs, the LEDelicious system of LEDs, and I promised to show you the film. So I'm going to show you the film in just a second. Just before I do that, I've been in these meetings all week in Shenzhen. I'll tell you about it in a minute. And I was talking to one of the head salespeople at our main supplier here. So just so you understand, this is MAGFAST is a very, very specialized and boutique project. No one in charging has done anything like it before, which is why it's proving to be such a challenge, and why we're so lucky to have, kind of amazing, support like the kind that you've been giving us all along. But this is a very, very successful company here. For those of you who are like, why is he doing it in China? There is no choice. There's no option for doing this in Europe or in America. There is not the infrastructure. It is simply not possible to do a project like this there. If it were, we would look at it instantly. But the infrastructure is here, and I don't want to get into the politics of it, because it's obviously a very whatever side of the spectrum you're on in our politics, everyone agrees that it's a pretty aggressive time, a very toxic time. I will tell you this: the individuals here who we work with and who I have met, every single one of them is essentially just like you and me. They're gracious, they're sweet, they're kind, they want to be helpful, they're raising their children, they want the best for them, they want the best for visitors to their country. And I've been kind of taken aback by the warmth and kindness and decency of everybody we've worked with, and everybody that I've met while I've been here. I'm going to London next. We'll see how London compares. Stopping off for a couple of days. Some of you know my dad is in England and is housebound now, so I'm just going to stop off. I'll be working while I'm there, but I'm just going to stop off and spend a couple of days with him. And then back to New York, which is notoriously, we love New York, but it's notoriously not the most polite place on the planet. Apparently even the pilots say that air traffic control, like, they know when they arrive in New York, because it's kind of like, United 3472, stop messing with my airspace. Anyway, back to the topic in hand, LEDs. And I was talking to one of the salespeople. They deal with customers all over the world, including some big brand name customers that you would know. Obviously, I can't say them. Brand name customers in the UK, but think very large convenience store brand, very large retailer, names that you've heard of before. And I was showing this lady who doesn't work on our team, but she graciously offered to, take me out to see the city for a few hours yesterday, showing her this work on the LEDs. And I asked her, she said, you know what, none of her no other customers care about the details in this kind of a way. Now, that means that it means we're crazy, right? I mean, either we've locked into something that nobody else cares about, nobody else understands, and it's going to be incredibly special, or I'm just a lunatic. You're here because when I first showed you this stuff, you took the view that doing something special was worth it. It was worth the trouble, it was worth the time, it was worth the effort. But she was saying, you know, all of the other power banks, they just have 4 little LEDs. They blink away. Nobody really knows what any of them do. I mean, kind of when all 4 of them are lit up, the battery's full, and when it's only 2, it's kind of half full. But you know, they do other blinking and so on, and none of the customers, none of the buyers who are buying tens, hundreds of thousands of units care about these kind of details. Our belief is that you do care, or at least like you'll care when you have it in your hands, right? You're not noticing how bad what you have today is when you have this in your hands, and it's beautiful, it's amazing, and it just feels different. We want these to be products that just feel amazing to own. With all of that said, let's show you the little film we've put together that describes the LEDelicious LED system that we've designed for the whole of the MAGFAST system. MAGFAST's patent-pending LEDelicious system represents a radical rethink of how all our products clearly communicate with you. We've taken the time to design a simple system of LEDs that tell you everything you need to know in a simple way that you may notice you already intuitively understand. First, gently, firmly touch the on symbol to turn your charger on and see exactly how much power you've got. Each LED has a number, so 8 white lights means an 80% charge. Easy. And each charging outlet is also numbered, and as you use it, the matching LED breathes in a gorgeous, glowing green. Look, charging. Faster charging, always just right for your device. And as charging completes, it safely slows until it stops. When the time comes, no matter which of the many ways you choose to charge your MAGFAST charger, your LEDs dance continuously so you know you're getting the charger you want. The MAGFAST LEDelicious system. Simple, beautiful, intuitive. So that has kind of changed the conversation. Showing that film this week while I've been here has really changed the conversation. Typically engineers tend to think of engineering individual products, individual projects. So this is a normal, natural thing. They've been thinking of each product as being a project. And I'm saying, no, there's only one project. It's called MAGFAST. And there are individual products within that. And so the LED system that you've just seen is a system-wide system. It's what you would expect from us. But it's not traditionally the way anybody in the power bank industry has thought about making chargers. And so we've had success in evolving the way the team thinks and feels about this. I'll do more details for you next week. I particularly want to show you the scoop area of the power banks. I'll put it on screen for you next week, but we've managed to get hold of I'll tell you about it next week, but you know how the cable comes, a little flippy cable comes along and goes down on one side, and we've managed to get around the corner more quickly with a new component that's smaller and tighter. We're able to make the scoop significantly more beautiful. Again, the guys here are kind of amazed. None of their customers care about this stuff. Nobody spends hours and hours and hours sculpting little details of the products, but it's who we are, it's what we do, and you're going to love this stuff when you get it in your hands. Very quickly, let's go through the products. So MAGFAST wall, the one that plugs into the wall. We've finally made progress. We've been trying. The base model, if you're someone who's getting one for free and not choosing to go ahead with the upgrade, It doesn't affect you, but the upgraded one with double the power, which is part of the Pro kit, and so many of you've chosen to kind of upgrade to the one we call double the power, is going to include USB-C. And USB-C has much heavier power requirements. It's always been USB-C kind of in the top, where the little the adapter tips go in. That's always been C. Adding C down the bottom for double the power, and just getting that amount of circuitry inside has been difficult. There's a new technology in the charging world called GAN, and we found a way now to get GAN in there that allows double the power to be a significant, way better product than we had promised. Just to give you some idea why this thing proves to be why the MAGFAST project overall has turned out to be so hard. This example of wall gives you a good example. So we want wall to be amazing. The upgraded one must have USB-C in. We asked you guys voted months and months ago. USB-C is critical to the future. It must be included kind of across the range. So we've got to get USB-C in. The easy way to do it would have been just to make wall a little bit bigger. Okay, just add an inch, add half an inch to the bottom. It would have been easy. But there are consequences to that. If you've been with us for a while, you've seen in one of the updates a few weeks ago, I spoke about the packaging system, and how the packaging system is a series of kind of Lego blocks where all of the boxes, they're not all the same size, but they all fit together in a system. So it's possible to take any combination of boxes and put them together into a really neat package, which means it's great for shipping, it's great for gifting when you give to other people. And the consequence of making wall longer to accommodate the extra circuits would have been, I forget the exact number, but it's something like a kind of 23% increase in the volume of all of the packaging for all of the products. If we were going to keep with this method of having all of the packaging be so beautiful and fit together like that. And we found this over and over again, that something that seems like a small and minor change to one product has ramifications across the entire system. We're not prepared to drop our quality standards at any time. It's the entire purpose of MAGFAST, right? Is that we're saying no. Everybody else out there is making kind of average stuff. We're going to make something truly superb, something that actually is of the quality of the really great smartphone, that you buy every couple of years. You go out and get this valuable, great, amazing smartphone, and then you plug these crappy chargers into it. So just to loop back, wall. We've found a way of getting this in there. There's more engineering work to be done, but that's great. Air, I was really pleased when we arrived. I showed you MAGFAST Air a few weeks ago and said I was disappointed with the strength of the magnets. We've got this system now of surfacing the magnets I showed you a few weeks ago. That is working really, really well. We actually went to a magnet factory, and it was fascinating. It's also the dirtiest thing I've ever seen. It's incredible. It's a really dirty process making magnets, and it kind of throws a kind of thin oil into the air, so everyone wears masks the whole time. But if you imagine walking around somewhere where there's just this thin, and sometimes not so thin film of oil kind of like all over the walls and the machinery and the floors and everything, it was pretty out there. But the magnets are great. We're getting, now that we've brought them up to the surface, we're really getting the strength that we need, so we're kind of finalizing on that. I'll show you next week. I'll show you about the really beautiful improvement to the scoop on top of all of the products. What else we got here? Extreme long, like half a day, just working with the engineers on the complexities. This is stuff that, there's no way you would have thought of it. I hadn't thought of it. You might say that I should have thought of it. I know I studied engineering at university. I'm kind of, I think I'm smarter than the average bear when it comes to chargers. But this is stuff that, people who do this for a living hadn't figured out. You think of Extreme, this big battery, 4 different ways of getting power into the system. Is it 6 or 7 different ways of getting power out? All of those different combinations of is the power coming in? Is there just the battery? Is there more than one source of power coming in? What if there's 3 sources of power coming in and the battery and the load? In other words, if you've plugged in so many things that you're trying to draw more power than is available, should we, how should we cut down the availability of power? These are complex questions. There's no right answer. Our job is to do the thinking for you to make it really, really simple. So a full half day working on that. I think we've cracked it. But some more engineering work to be done there. Just looking at my notes here. Rode, similarly. Now Rode is little, right? And it plugs into the cigarette outlet in your car. But Rode is, although it only has a small battery, because it's just like a little bit extra if you need to jump out of the car and take it with you. It's intended to be plugged in the whole time. But Rode, we've committed to being a really strong transitional product. Most of the cables you have now are USB-A, right? So they plug into the back of the 2 USB-A outlets on the back. Well, I guess 2 on the back, 1 around the side. So you have several people in the car. They probably need an A cable at the moment, but that's not what you're going to need a couple of years from now, because everything's moving to USB-C. So Rode has 3 A's and 3 C's, which if you were to pull power from all of them simultaneously would be a lot of power. Now the good news is you can get that power from a cigarette lighter. The 12 volt goes through to your car's electrical system, which is very powerful. But you've got this product that's got this one input. It's very powerful, 12 volts. But then it's got another condition, which is that it isn't plugged in. You've just got this much smaller battery, something like 2,000 milliamp hours, and the possibility that some crazy person out there is going to plug 6 items and try to pull from the little battery when it isn't plugged in. So all of these different cases have to be considered. And the truth is, someone out there is going to find a way of using the products that is very unusual and hasn't been predicted. So then we have to have all kinds of safety systems built in, so that if the capacity is exceeded, because the capacity of any product will be exceeded, we've got these big expensive 100, 200, 300 million dollar airplanes here, and it's possible to exceed their capacity, right? You can fill it up with people and too much baggage and too much cargo and not enough gas, and you can exceed the capacity. So any product can have its capacity exceeded. What we need is that when that happens, it is graceful in the way that it behaves. It doesn't just suddenly stop charging, but it lets you know what's going on. So that's Rode. I think I've mentioned everything. I've mentioned Wall, Life. I mentioned Extreme, Road. And Time. Time is, if I'm honest, we're the furthest. We've got more to do with Time than any of the others. I apologize to you if you're one of the folks who's ordered Time. It is going to be fantastic when it's done. It's the order quantities are lower, and as we make priorities, we've obviously pushed ahead with the higher order number ones first. But Time has additional challenges because Apple has all kinds of restrictions on what you can and can't do. And we found this week that one of the Apple MFI is the name of the program. One of the Apple MFI experts had misinterpreted some of the Apple rules. Not so expert. And some design changes have to be made as a result of that. So, listen, if nothing else, I hope this the last few minutes have given you some idea of the detail and the complexity of the project. I'm never pleased with the speed of the progress, but I am pleased with the quality of the progress and the quality of the people and the quality of the understanding across the team now. So let's wrap it up for now. Next week I'll pick this up and show you about the scoops in more detail and update you on 1 or 2 other things as well.